Okay, today we're on Lake Francis. My goal is one video every single week for a year. No more, no less. We're gonna go after some pike today. We gotta wait out there a little ways. The lake is like way lower than what it was just last month, and it's just gonna keep going lower. But the place we can get access to makes some really good goose hunting. Let's get after it. Okay, so what I was using last time, getting the pike, really simple rooster tail. I mean, hopefully you guys can see there's really nothing special about it. Black rooster tail with the silver blade. Okay, this is way colder. But we're gonna wade out to about waist deep. Oh, this is way colder than it was last time. It rained. Oh, right in the balls. I forgot to mention, I brought a really heavy rod. It's a 7-foot, like medium heavy rod that I actually use for the ocean. But I forgot my leader. It's like a 40-pound leader, mono. So I was gonna chuck that out and have some frozen chubs on it, but well, seeing as I forgot that, and I forgot to rig it up because I was in a hurry. And you just, if you guys ever come to Lake Francis, when it's this low, you just cast out any direction. You can kind of, I usually like to go parallel with the shore. If you go towards this side of the island, it's the south side of the island. If you get out from where I'm at, like you're gonna have to have a boat or a kayak, something to float out there. But another 50-60 yards where I am, you'll get into a bunch of weed beds over there, and it's some pretty good perch fishing, especially ice fishing. And so right now, nothing yet. But just a quick tip, if you guys ever use spinners and you're not feeling like a solid amount of tension on the line, just give it a little twerk, because that means the blade ends up spinning around it. Therefore, there's no action how it should be. And once you kind of feel that tension, then you know the blade's spinning because it's creating, I don't know if torque's the right word, and the wow is really bad cast. I don't know if torque's the right word, but it's creating action in the water. Let's just see. Last time I was out here, I had a few hits, but I think it's just this water is so warm that they may be a little lethargic. So I figured maybe in the evening when it's a little bit cooler, they might get them a little more active. But there's pike in there, some nice pike too. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just move a little bit. If I don't get anything within the first few casts, I'll just move a few feet. You gotta be careful. For the most part here, the drop on this side of the island is just, it's right there pretty much, and it stays level for the most part. As you go further out, it's just very gradual. It's not like a steep drop off unless you go to that side of the island, in which case way different. But I just move. If I don't get anything, move. But if you can find where those weed beds are, you just fish right on that and they'll just hang out. And if I don't get anything on this, I got something else off that's worked pretty well. And then move. So one other thing as well about this lake that's really unique about this lake, I kind of talked about this earlier, the weed beds. The weed beds from where I'm at, I'm like maybe 10 yards offshore right now, or off the bank. But the weed beds are pretty much focused 50-60 yards, and then if you can target about, this is ice fishing experience, it's about 30 feet deep, you'll hit a bunch of weed beds, and then especially as you get out further in the middle of the lake, there'll be weed beds and then just little holes in between each weed bed. There's not like really isolated areas where it's just really dense. Weed beds are pretty much, it's the entire bottom of the lake. It's just these little, I don't know what the plant's called, but it's just these little plants. If you're gonna be shore fishing during the summertime, the only place that's really going to be even worth your time is going to be the south side of the island. If you go to the north side, be really careful because it drops. It's not gradual, it just drops. I don't know how deep it is on the north side. I don't know the north side nearly as well as I do the south side of the lake. So if you do fish that north side, be very careful. Back out we go. And just keep moving. I mean, pike are not very easily spooked. I mean, these fish are, yeah, they don't spook easy. They're the, like, with the walleye and the pike, these guys are like the predators, and the pike are the ones that eat the walleye anyway. So, ooh, that was a bottom. We got weeds on our hook. think that was just the bottom right there. But the pike are the predators in this lake. They'll eat the walleye. Walleye eat the perch, and they eat the crawdads in this lake. When I've tried to trap this lake for minnows, I have gotten jack squats. I don't really think the minnow population is that good in this lake. So take that as you will. If you're not having any luck on dead minnows, I've never had even luck on like bottom bounce on this lake. I've never had any luck catching walleye, that matter of fact. All right, we're getting desperate. This is actually a lure I found to replace the hook because it didn't have one. I just found this laying like, I think it was in the lake. I just happened to see it. So figured if these are what people are throwing for pike from shore, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll have better luck with this go around instead of lures I've caught them on. So you know what? What the heck? I want to catch pike. They are delicious and some of the best eating fish, hands down, out there. I think the only pain is the Y bones, but once you get past those, oh my gosh. All right, guys, I'm gonna get my cast net out. There's something just jumped. I'm like, okay, maybe it'd have been bird poop, but something just little tiny fish just jumped out there. You know what? Sun's going down though. We don't have time. I want to get my cast net out here one time and just see if I can't like net some bait fish. You can't use live bait here, which I don't really understand. I still don't understand. I've asked them like why, and I really don't get it. Other than I think the reason is just trying to contain like the I can't remember whatever that disease is that some minnows carry. They're just trying to keep that under control, which makes sense. But still, like, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. Hey, but we're getting weeds. You might be thinking, oh, that's dumb, but that means we're in a good spot. So just gonna keep checking this out there. I'm kind of semi-worried that this lure is a little over the weight for this rod, so I'm trying to be gentle and not just like you could chuck this thing out so far, but I don't want to snap this rod. Maybe is that my lure just skipping? All right, our light is running out. I'm just curious. I'm gonna go through this cast net just a few times. Don't judge me. I'm not really good at this. Pretty much self-taught. But there's some little fish that's jumping out of here, so you know what? Surely there's like a school. Cast netting, using a seine net, using minnow traps, whatever. It's in the regulations. Like this is legal, just not for game fish. Again, I'm no expert, so don't judge me that the circle ain't open up all the way. I'm just curious to see if anything does happen to be swimming through here. What do you know? What is this? I'm not sure. So, oh, it's a little spot tail shiner. I was gonna say, this is a shiner for sure. These guys, if it didn't have the little spot, I would have leaned to it being an emerald shiner. But my hunch was right. He might be, he's just like when he's like kind of the awkward size. Yeah, it's a little spot tail shiner. So my hunch was right. I mean, if I had more time, let me actually check. I'm gonna set him right here because I might just kill him. We only got like 20 minutes of light left. Okay, so here, I'm gonna kill this guy. We're gonna get him on a hook. We're gonna chuck him out there. I'm gonna just sit from shore and just watch the bobber, pray I can actually see the bobber and go. I didn't even know there's actually spot tail shiners in here. That was actually a surprise. But cool. We're gonna get this on. We're gonna kill him, get him on a hook, check him out, throw the bobber, and just see what happens. All right, he is dead. Yeah, I had to use the GoPro case to bash him over the head to kill him. But you use what you got, and you know what? This GoPro seems to be able to handle it pretty well. So we're gonna get this guy on hook real quick, check him out, and see if we can get a Y. Fingers crossed. Okay, after like our line breaking 7 different times, finally got the blasted thing on there. So we're just gonna go real simple. Bobber, split shot. That's just to help keep this bobber upright. We say a little, it didn't hurt anybody. And then because we saw him not jumping out too far, I'm gonna try and get it like right about there. I can barely see that because my eyes suck. I don't know if you guys can see that either. So this might just be a time we get to hang out. If I catch something great, I hope you guys, you should be able to see me still. I think you can see the bobber. Yeah, no, pretty sure you guys cannot see the bobber, but I'm just gonna stick this rod in the dirt. I'm gonna let it sit here, and we're just gonna kind of hang out. I'm gonna start packing stuff up. I was actually really lucky to just come across that shiner. What I might do is just let this bobber kind of just soak, and just walk up and down, and just throw out the cast net. Just see. So a good reason to go ahead and easier to use your minnow trap, cast net, or a sea net is really just to find out what's in that lake, what kind of bait fish they may be feeding on, if there's crawdads in there, for example, just to really know what forage is available. And if you're raising something like a Rapala, you'll be able to mimic essentially what kind of bait fish are going to be in that lake. So if you're trolling, this is a good way to find out essentially how to match the hatch, I guess, in fly fishermen's terms. And so a good way to do this, I like to actively do this, is just using a throw net and just throwing out there. If you get something great, then you can go ahead and analyze and figure out what it is. Like you see in this clip, we get another actually spot tail shiner. These are really the only things I'm seeing cruising along shore, just a bunch of spot tail shiners. Apparently there's fathead minnows in this lake, which I've yet to see at all. So whether or not they're actually in this lake, it's to be found out. But this is just a great opportunity to be able to really figure out what forage fish are available. And then if you do happen to catch like a pike, a walleye, cut its stomach open and actually see what they are feeding on. And once you know what they're actually feeding on, that's what you need to start using. In fact, when I was up at Lake Marianna this past weekend, all the perch were just feeding on these little baby crawdads. So we trapped a bunch of them, killed them, used them as bait, and we just started hammering them. So again, this is why it's crucial that you match the hatch and you know what they're going after. All right, now I think we're gonna go ahead and call it for this little fishing trip. Again, yeah, it's getting dark. I'm going to post one video, try to get a long format video out every single week. If not, it will be a short form video every week for a year starting from now. So next year, July 29th, I will have posted one video every single week. So that's going to be at least 52 videos, more or less. So if you guys are new, especially if you're new to fishing, please hit that subscribe button. The whole point of this channel is going to be focusing for those that are new to fishing, or if you just enjoy fishing content and you're from Montana, even hit that subscribe button. Central Montana, that's what we're going to be focusing on, North Central Montana primarily. So see you guys in the next one.